See, generally, if you want to read data from matrix, there is a matrix with number of rows and columns. There is a matrix with number of rows and columns. If you want to read the content of the matrix, first I have to read what? Row. Then I have to read what? Column. Then again I have to read what? Row. Then again I have to read what? Column. Then read the row and then read column. Now this might takes a lot of time or not? Yes. Then what do you do it? You convert this into which array? 1D array. 1D array by using which attribute? Flat. Then you are reading all the elements by using index. How many indexes you are using? Only one index. You are not using two indexes. So generally, this is a row index and this is column index. So if you want to read the content of array, I have to use matrix, I have to use row index as well as what? Column index. But here I'm using only one index because you are converting 2D array into which array? 1D array. So you are using how many subscripts here? Only one subscript. You are using how many subscripts here? Only one, not a two, right? So that is what you mean by flat array here. So there is now NumPy provides some predefined functions. NumPy provides some predefined functions here. So what is the name of the function or what is the name of the type is nd enumerate. nd enumerate. Okay, enumerate is there. Like in Python, you learn enumerate. So what enumerate returns? Enumerate returns iterator object. What enumerate returns? Iterator object. So enumerate is read only. See, all these are read only. You cannot write it. So nd enumerate what it returns? Enumerate object. But generally enumerate what it returns? It returns element as well as what? Start. Okay, it return an element as well as what? Start. But when it comes to nd enumerate, this return two things. Means it returns a tuple. It returns a tuple or it returns an array which contain two values. One is index and one more is what? Value. It returns the index as well as what? Value. So is it enumerate is read only or writable? Read only. Means by using nd enumerate, you can read the data from array, but you cannot able to what? Write it. So this is written by what? Two. One is an index and one more is a value. It returns the index as well as value. So what is the name of the function is nd enumerate. nd enumerate or enum. So the name of the function is nd enumerate. So this will return enumerate object. So nd enumerates here. This is nd enumerate. So nd enumerate is a function in NumPy, provides a way to iterate over the elements of multi-dimensional array while simultaneously obtaining both indexes as well as what? Values for each element. That is what I said. Okay. So nd enumerate. Yes. So nd enumerate is a predefined function in NumPy. It is a function. It is a function. It is not a method of nd array object. It is not a method of nd array object. It is a function. It is a function. Okay, this function returns which object? Iterator object. This function returns iterator object, and this iterator object read, okay, read index and what is that? Value. This iterator object read index or value, index and value, or this iterator object iterate how many things here? Index and values from which one? Array. And whenever you are talking about enumerate or iterator, iterator written by ND enumerate is read only. Means using this you can read the data but you cannot write the data. Using this ND enumerate you can read it but you cannot write it. So ND enumerate returns how many things? Two things. One is index and one more is what? Value. It returns two things. One is the index and one more is value. Yes, sir. So what is the syntax of this ND enumerate? This is the syntax of ND enumerate. You are writing ND enumerate, it followed by which one? Array. ND enumerate it followed by array. You need to send which object? Array object. You have to send which object? Array object as an argument. You have to send array object as a argument. Array object as an argument, right? So if you see this, I'm trying to create, an array by saying np dot array. I'm saying 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now this is 1D array. This is 1D array. I'm creating enumerate object by saying np dot. What is the name of the function is nd enumerate. Nd enumerate it followed by array. Now you can see print e. Now E is the object of which type? ND enumerate object. So this enumerate returns what here? Iterator only. Now ND enumerate is which object? Iterator object. So iterator is always lazy evaluation. Lazy means when you require then only you read the data. So data will not be there in what? Iterator. Data will not be there in what? Iterator. This is very much useful when you are working with the files. When you are working with the files, you create an iterator on a file. When you create iterator on file, what is the role of this iterator? Only reading. So when you required, you read the data. Now data will not be stored in what? Memory. The data will not be stored in which object? Iterator object. So this is called as which evaluation? Lazy evaluation. Means when you required, then only you read it and store that data in what? Memory. When you don't require, you don't read the data and store in what? Memory. So it is written enumerate object and you give this enumerate to the for loop. I am writing here for x in E, for x in E and print x. So it iterate each time one element. Now you can see 0, comma, what is the value is 10. So here 10 is the value of which type? Integer, and how many bytes it will take? How many bytes it will take? How many bits it will take? 64 bits. 64 bits is nothing but how many bytes? 8 bytes. Now this is nothing but index and this is nothing but what? Value. So it is returning one tuple. See here, it is returning one tuple which contain two things. One is the index and one more is a value. One is an index and one more is a value. Now this is when it comes to which array? 1D array. Now let me create a 2D array. NP dot array. I'm creating a 2D array with 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Now this is a 2D array with how many rows and how many columns? 2 rows and 2 columns, right? 2 rows and 3 columns. 2 rows and 3 columns, and I'm writing E equal to NP dot ND enumerate. What is the name of this here? ND enumerate. ND enumerate. ND enumerate of which one? B. ND enumerate of B, and I'm saying for X in E. So always enumerate returns two things. One is, okay, index and one more is a value. So what is the row index is? 0. What is the column index is? 0. What is the value it is? 1. What is the row index is? 0. What is the column index is? 1. What is the value is? 2. Are you getting or not? Okay, so enumerate returns how many values? Two values. Okay, enumerate returns two values. One is index and one more is value. But when you are reading it using flat, that returns only value by converting 1D array into 1D array only. 2D array into what? 1D array. You can read 2D array as like 1D array. You can use only one index. If you want to read 2D array, you have to use how many indexes? Two indexes. But you can read this by using how many indexes? One index. So that is done by using which one? Flat. So flat, and this is ND enumerate. So this is enumerate, which you learn already in list when you work with Python collections. Okay. Iterator, enumerator. Yes. Okay. But here also you have an enumerator, and this returns two things. One is the index and one more is a value. And Python, NumPy provide one more function. Python provide one more function called ND iterator. There is one more function it provides, and what is the name of the function is ND iterator. ND iterator. Iterator is there. Okay, you find iterator when you work with collections. Yes or no? Iterator you learn, no? Huh? So ITER is a function, and this function returns which object? Iterator object. ITER function returns which object? Iterator object. And using this iterator object, what do you do it? Iterate the values. Iterate the values from list. Iterate the values from set. Iterate the values from what? Dictionary. Correct or not? See, generally use the iterator to make your collection as read only. Yes or no? Suppose in application development, you send a list from one function to another. Is it that list is a mutable or immutable? Mutable. If you send a list to another function, the other function can modify the data or not? Yes. Because in Python, there's no pass by value. In Python, there is no pass by value. Whenever you call the function by sending object, it doesn't send object. When you send object, will it send object or object address? Object address. So there is no pass by value. There is only pass by reference. There is no pass by value. There is only pass by reference. Understood? So what will happen if you send a mutable object from one function to another function? The other function is able to modify that data or not? Yes. You don't want that data to be modified. I want other function should read it, but it should not able to modify. Then what do you do it? You wrap this list into which object? Iterator object, and send it. Now, is it other function is able to read or write? Read. Because iterator is what here? Read only. The iterator which you use in list or sets or what is that dictionary, this iterator is read only. But when it comes to NumPy, so this iterator is advanced iterator, and this iterator allows to read. This allows to read as well as what? Write. This allows to read as well as what? Write. It allows to read as well as write. Okay. Now somebody is asking, sir, can we expect the output without np.integer64? Okay. So what you do is, so this is one tuple, right? This tuple contain one more tuple, which is having 0, and this is what here? 1. So when you read 0 and 1, you don't get with a type, you get without type. Understood? Right? So again, use one more for loop. Use again one more for loop. Okay, now. So you have to use one more for loop to read the data from that. Okay. So there is a ND iterator. So ND iterator is a predefined function in NumPy. It is a predefined function in what? NumPy. It is a predefined function in NumPy. And what this function will do is a predefined function in NumPy. This function returns, okay, this function returns which object? ND iterator object. It returns which object? ND iterator object. So this object allows to perform how many operations? Two operations. One is reading and one more is writing. But generally the iterator is used only for reading. Generally iterator is used only for reading, but this ND iterator is used for reading and what is that? Writing. Now both you can do it by using which one? ND iterator object. Are you getting or not? Okay, generally iterator is only for reading, but using this iterator, you can read as well as what? Write. So what will happen when you work with the list? For example, this is what will happen when you work with list collection. I created list with some 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So what will happen? Which object is created? List object is created. Now this is a list object created with how many values? 5 values or 5 objects. It is created with 5 values or 5 objects. Now 10, 20, okay, 30. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and one more value I have is a 50. Now this is list object. So this is a list object. So what will happen if I am writing some x equal to iter? What is iter? Is a function or is a type which returns which object? Iterator object. So this will return one more object. It will return one more object. And what is that object it returns? Iterator object. So what is the job of this iterator object? What is the job of iterator object? Iterator object is having data, na? Is it iterator object is having data? No. Iterator object doesn't have what? Data. This iterator object required a source for reading what? Data. So this is like a pipe. I mean, this iterator object read data. As iterator object read data from where? List. This iterator object iterate data from where? List. But is it iterator object is having any data? No. So the job of iterator is just reading it, getting on it, but not for writing. But when it comes to the ND iterator object, its job is not only reading, it is able to what? Write. It is able to what? Write also. Means, but until unless you don't give write permission, you cannot able to write. But generally it is used for reading, but you cannot able to what? Write. Because always the iterators are what? Readable. Iterators are what? Readable. Getting on not? So iterator doesn't have data. Iterator doesn't have data. Iterator read the data from a source. That source can be either collection, that source can be either file, or that source can be what? Database, or it can be anything. It can be what? Anything, right? Yes. So here also ND iterator is a function returns which object? ND iterator object, and this object allows to perform how many operations? Two operations. One is reading and one more is what? Writing. One is reading and one more is writing. So in application development, it is very much useful. It means you are not doing operations directly on what? Array. You are trying to do operations on array by using another object. So when you are working with multiple functions, when you are working with what? Multiple functions. Multiple functions, you don't create a copy. For example, you create one array in one function and you want to use that array in what? Another function. Will you create a copy of the array and send it? No. So that will occupy more space. Then what do you do it? You create an iterator on that array and then send it from one function to what? Another function. You send it from one function to another function so that The other function can read it, but cannot able to what? Modify it. Getting or not? Right? So it allows to perform two operations. One is reading and one more is what? Writing. So it is a predefined function. ND array, see it, ND iterator. So this is also one predefined functions here. Object, ND array object provides flexible and efficient way to iterate the elements of an array one by one. It is particularly useful for handling multi-dimensional arrays and offers various options for controlling the iteration process. Now this is what will happen. You are creating ND array and controlling iterator order. Now there are two orders are there. One is C style and one more is what? F. F is nothing but Fortran style. We'll discuss about this. Modifying array values. How can you modify array values? By giving operation flags. By giving which one? Operation flag. Okay. Iterating multiple arrays. It allows you to read multiple arrays. Not only one array, it allows to read what? Multiple arrays. So ND array object, ND array object, ND iterator object, ND iterator object provides the following facilities or following features. So what are the features it provides is, it provides the features like reading and what is it? Writing. It provides the features like reading and what is it? Writing. This is one feature. And it will provide the feature like controlling reading. Controlling what? Reading. And controlling reading means you can read in different orders. Controlling reading means it allows to read, it allows to read, it allows to read in different styles. Okay, it allows to read in different styles. And third one is it allows to iterate or read data from multiple arrays. Generally, you can read data from only one. Generally, using iterator, you can read data from only one array. You can read data from one array, but using this, you can able to read data from what? Multiple arrays. Multiple arrays, even that is provided by which object? ND array object. So first one is reading and writing, and second one is controlling reading, or it allows to read in different ways, and it allows to read data from multiple arrays. Multiple arrays. It means data will not be there in iterator object. Remember this. Data will not be there in iterator object. Data will be there in which object? Array object only. Array hold data. Iterator doesn't hold what? Data. And using this iterator pipeline or using this iterator pipe, either you read it or you write it. So what is the syntax? What is the syntax of this? So it is having some keyword arguments and one required argument is there. You are saying np dot nd iterator, np dot nd iterator and followed by which object? Array object. Now what is the required argument? What is the required argument? Array. What is the required argument is here? Array object. Required argument is which object? Array object. And then next one is you have an argument called which one? Order. You have an argument called which one? Order. Order. But what is the default order is? C. What is the default order is? C style. You have an order. Here you have an order. Order is C. C. C means row measure and F means column measure. We'll discuss this. So order is there. And after order, now there is a permission. You may give a permission for reading and what is that? Writing. That is nothing but OP flags. That is nothing but which one? OP flags. OP flags is nothing but operation flag. Whether you want read only, whether you want to read and what is that? Write. But by default, what is the operation flag is? Read only. It is represented as string value. It is represented as which value? String value. It is represented as which value? String value. String value. But what is the default is? Read only. What is the default? Default is read only. Means you can able to read it, but you cannot able to what? Modify. You can able to read it, but you cannot able to what? Modify. So operation flags, and second one is order, and third one is operation flags. So these are optional arguments. These are which arguments? Optional arguments. Now here, this array object is not one array object. It can be one or more than one. It can be one or it can be what? More than one. Because it allows to read content from one array object or more than one array object, more than one array object. Understood? Now here, now, so ND iterator required. ND iterator required which object? Array object. ND iterator required which object? Array object. It allows to read. It allows to read from. It allows to read from one or more than one array. It allows to read from one or more than one array. It can be one array or it can be more than one array. Then next one is order is there. How to read data? Row major order or column major order? A row major order or what? Column major order is defined by which one? Order. Order. Order define. Order define how to read. How to read. How to read elements. How to read elements from. How to read elements from array. So there are two orders. There are two ways of. There are two ways of reading. Reading elements from array. First one is C style. C style is nothing but row major order. Row major order. Okay, second one is F style. F style is nothing but Fortran. C means C language. This is C language. Actually, C means C language. C language. And F style is nothing but column major order. Column major order. So column major order, and this is nothing but which language? Fortran language. So these are two different languages. Okay. One is a C style and one more is what? F style. So what is the meaning of this? If it is 1D array, you don't find any difference between C and what is that? F. But if it is two-dimensional array, then you find the difference between C style and what is that? F style. If it is two-dimensional array, if it is one-dimensional array, you don't find the difference. If it is one-dimensional array, you don't find the difference. For example, there is a matrix where 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what is that? 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, what is the default style is? C style. C style is nothing but which order? Row major order. Means it will try to read first row. Means it will read like this 1, 2, 3, and then go to which row? Second row. And read 4, 5, and what is that? 6. And after reading this, it will go to third row and read 7, 8, what is that? 9. This is nothing but which order? Row major order, and that is nothing but which style? C style. And by default, always you read in which order? Row major order only. Always you read in which order? Row major order only. That is nothing but C style. But there is another style is there. And what is that another style is? F style. F is nothing but Fortran language. C is nothing but C language. C style is C language. F style is Fortran style. Fortran is one language. Fortran, which stands for Formula Translation Language. Formula Translation Language, and it is used for scientific computing, and complicated mathematical expressions can be evaluated by using which language? Fortran. So initially in engineering, they used to teach Fortran. Olden days, they used to teach which one? Fortran, Formula Translation Language. And scientific language is C. They used to teach what C and Fortran, but now people are not teaching C and Fortran. They're directly learning what? Python only, Python or Java, without having a basic skills on C and what is that? Fortran language. But when it comes to the Fortran, it will try to read data in which order? Column major order. C is row major order. F means column major order. Column major order. F is nothing but column major order. What is a column major order? Very simple. Now, if you take this is one matrix. Now you created matrix with two rows and two columns. Then if it is column major order, then it will read what? First column and then go to which column? Second column. So that is called as a row major, and one more is what? Column major. Understood? Bolo here. Okay, then next one is OP flags. OP flags are there. OP flags. The next one what you have is OP flags. OP flag is a keyword argument. Operation flags. OP flags. OP flag. So what is the name of this OP underscore flags? The name of this is OP underscore flags is the name of this is. So this keyword argument define operations performed on which object? Array object. OP flags is a keyword argument define operations performed on which object? Array object. What operations you perform an array object is defined by using one keyword argument. And what is the name of that? OP flags. So the values of OP flags, okay, are what is the first value is write only. What is the second one is read and write. So there is a write only and there is a read write. There is what here? Read only. There is write only. There is read write. There is only read. So how many values are there? Three values. What is the default value? Read only. What is the default value? Read only. These values are represented as what here? String. These values are represented as what? String. Okay, these values are represented as a strings. Are you getting or not? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. So it is an advanced. The iterator what you use with the list, that is simple. But the iterator which is used with NDE, I mean array object is advanced because it allows lot of operations. You can read and you can replace, but you cannot delete. You can read and you can replace, but you cannot delete. You can read and you can replace, but you cannot delete. That is not possible, right? So let me tell you practically this. Let me tell you this. Online students, you're there. You understood? Yes. Online students. सुन रहे चले गए? Okay, right? Yes. So now this has become mandatory, right? Now this NumPy, Pandas, okay, all this becomes compulsory if you are learning any technology belongs to Python. Understood, right? So let me tell you this. I'm writing here np dot array, np dot array. I'm creating 1D array with some 5 elements. This is 1D array with how many elements? 5 elements. I'm creating ND iterator object. ND iterator object. ITER1, ITER1 equal to NP dot, what is the name of this? ND iterator on which one? A. ND iterator on which one? A. Okay. So what it returns? What it returns? Iterator object. It is which object? Iterator object. And using this iterator object, can you iterate the values or not? Yes. Using this iterator object, you can iterate the values. But generally, if you want to iterate values, what do you have to do? Actually, if you want to iterate values, what do you have to do? Suppose x is there. If you want to iterate, then what do you do? It use a function called which one? Next. Next, you send this iterator to which function? Next function. And that next function, will it read one element or not? Yes. You are sending this iterator object to which function? Next function. And that next function read a value. That next function read a value from list. If I'm writing next of x, what is the next element is 20. But you can also give this iterator to which loop? For loop. You can also give this iterator to which loop? For loop. Can I give this to the for loop or not? Yes. But using iterator, how many times you can iterate values? Using one iterator object, how many times you can iterate values? Only one time. You can read how many times? Only one time. If you want to read again, then you have to create one more iterator object or not? Yes. Now it is read how many values here? 5 values. It is read 5 values. Now if I say again for value in A and print value, and if I run this code, now what happened? It is read again, right? So, but in this case, using iterator object, how many times you can iterate? Only one time. But using iterator, ND iterator, will you read using one object? Will you read one time or more than one time? More than one time. That is where I said it is an advanced iterator compared to which one? Iterator used with the list, set, and what is that? Dictionary. It is an advanced iterator. If you are reading, see here, if you are writing a next of x, if you are saying next of x, then it is what? 30. If I'm saying next of x, what is the next one is 40. If I'm saying next of x, what is the next one is 50. If I'm writing next of x, then what will happen? Error. Error. What is it? Error. Stop iteration. Stop iteration. What? Error. Because once all the elements are iterated, you cannot iterate again. Means once you create an iterator object, using that iterator object, how many times you can read it? Using that iterator object, how many times you can read it? Only one time. But using ND iterator object, once you created ND iterator object, how many times you can read it? More than one time. Understood? Yes. Now he's saying, what is this? Admin, his admin job is doing. Huh? You are eligible for only admin, huh? Software engineer, admin, huh? Admin. Huh? Your name is admin, huh? You are doing admin job, huh? Collecting fees, huh? You are collecting fees, huh? Your admin, dear admin. हाँ देखो यार, थिंक ब्रॉडर, लो लेवल पे ना को जाओ यार. सेम नेम इज कमिंग. हाँ, ऐसा आता है क्या? एडमिन बोल के आता है क्या? रजिस्ट्रेशन में एडमिन बोल के आता है क्या यार? आता. थिंक ब्रॉडर यार. एडमिन क्लर्क. हाँ, क्या करते हैं यार? हाँ, आई शुड कॉल हिम एडमिन. हाँ, इज कलेक्टिंग फीसेस. इट विल नॉट कम ऑटोमेटिक यार. क्यों यार? सुबह सुबह दिमाग खराब ना को करो यार. हाँ, सुबह सुबह क्यों यार? अच्छा, फ्रेश माइंड है. हाँ, दिमाग खराब हो तो पूरा डे पूरा चले जाता. हाँ, Yes. Don't teach technology to technical people. Huh? Okay, don't teach technology to technical people. Huh? It will come automatically by default. Huh? क्या बोलते हैं यार? Huh? No problem. Yes. So we have to change now. So we have to complain to Zoom. Huh? So Zoom को complaint करना हो. क्या बोल के? By default getting what? Admin. क्यों आ रहा? Huh? Yes. Because you registered all your classes with admin only. अभी पूरा classes में admin ही रहता. Okay, right? So no problem. Okay, no problem. I leave it. What is this is? What is this address? This is memory address. I says what here? Memory address. In which format? Hexadecimal format. Okay, this is memory address. You are saying no NDR object at which location? This is a location. This is a location. Now you can get this address, right? Address means ID. Address means ID or something else. ID only. Address is ID. This is address. Okay, na? Yes. But using this by default means it will try to read. It will try to read, but doesn't allow you to what? Write. It will try to read, but doesn't allow you to write. But by default, it read. Now reading in which style? C style. That you find the difference. You find the difference if you are working with two-dimensional array. You find the difference if you are working with which array? Two-dimensional array. So let me create a two-dimensional array with some two rows and two columns. With some two rows and with the two columns, right? So two rows and two columns. And now I'm creating an iterator object. itr2 equal to np dot nd iterator. np dot nd iterator. To this, you are sending which object? Array object. Are you sending array object or array address object? Are you sending array object or address of array object? Address of array object. So there is no pass by object. There is a pass by address. So whenever you are sending object, it doesn't send the object. It will send what? Address. Then next one keyword argument is there. Okay. Now I don't define this argument called order. But what is the default order is? Row major. Row major is which style? C style. Okay, for value in, can I give this iterator to for loop or not? Yes, I'm saying for value in, what is the name of this? Iterator 2. For value in, iterator 2 and reading value. Reading all the values from this array. Now when you run this, you can see 10, 20, 30, 40. Now I want to change the order. This is which order? Row major order. So it will read first row and then go to what? Second row. Okay. Then I'm saying np dot nd iterator. np dot nd iterator b is the name of the array object and order. What is the keyword argument name is? Order. And what is the order is? F. F is nothing but Fortran. F is nothing but Fortran. Fortran is what? Language. And that uses which may order? Column major order. That uses column major order for value in iterator 3. Iterator 3 and I read what? Values. So here I read the values. Now this uses column major order. Now you can see 10. Next is what? 30. Then 20 and then what? 40. So 20 and then 40. See here. This is the matrix with two rows and two columns. Now this is 10, 20 and this is 30 and what? 40. So one is a C. This is C. So first it is read 10, then 20, then 30, and then what? 40. So what is output? 10, 20, 30, 40. But when you write here F, then it is which order? Column major order. So first it is read 10, then 30, then go to the next column and read 20, and then read what? 40. Getting or not? So that is a row major and one more is a column major. That is defined by using one keyword argument. And what is that keyword argument? Order. Clear? Bolo here. Okay. So that is row major and column major order, right? And not only that, so it is having operation flags. So it is having operation flags. Operation flags are there. That is write only, read, write, and one more is what? Read only. So you can modify the content of the array. You can modify the content of the array by using iterator object. This is advanced. This is advanced. NP dot array. I'm creating an array with some 5 elements. I created array with 5 elements and I'm writing iterator 3. Iterator 3 and np dot nd iterator is for loop uses read చేసుకోవచ్చు. But for loop uses you can read in which order? Using for loop you can read in which order? Gautam. Using for loop you can read in which order? Row major, column major, row major. Row major or not? Yes. But if you give matrix to the for loop, what will it read? Will it read the elements or will it read the rows? Bolo here. If you give one matrix to the for loop, what will it read? Will it read the rows or rows? Elements or rows? But what do you want to read? Elements. Iterator read rows or elements? Array. Iterator reads rows or elements? Elements. Elements. Flat what it reads? Elements. For loop what it reads? If it is a matrix is given, what it reads? Rows. And after reading rows, you have to read elements. So there is a difference. You want to read elements, you want to read rows, elements. Because you want to perform operation on what? Data. Data. And this data is organized in the form of rows and columns. Then I want to read data from rows and columns. I don't want to use multiple for loops. If it is a 3D array, I have to use how many for loops? 3 for loops. First, I have to read matrix, I have to read rows, then I have to read columns. But with ND iterator, you can read directly what? Elements. Understood? Bolo here. Okay, Gautam, you understood? Okay, right? Yes. Yes, sir. Which one? 10. Only one value. So because that is what will happen here. See, I'm using one iterator object. I'm using one object. I'm using one object to iterate how many times? Number of times, right? So I'm using one iterator. See here, I said here for value in A. Oh, here I use A, right? Oh, sorry. I should use what? Iterator 1. So generally iterators, yes. Okay, now generally iterators allows to iterate how many times? How many times it allows to iterate? Only one time. Yeah, that is a mistake. Okay, now is it iterated or not iterated? Not iterate. Sorry. I have not taken iterator, right? I have taken which one? Array. So that is a mistake. But generally iterators allows to read how many times only? Generally iterators allows to read how many times only? One time. Okay, right? Yes. So ND iterator, see here, np dot ND iterator, I'm sending what here? Array. I'm sending array. Now this is which operation? You are trying to send one keyword argument, right? What is that key? Now change this one, right? ITER1, ITER1. That is what I said. Iterators generally allows to iterate how many times? Only one time. Even ND iterator also one time. Now write only, read, write, and one more is read only. So I try to take read, write, or write, read. Okay, I'm using one keyword argument. What is the name of that keyword argument? What is the name of that keyword argument? Operation flags. Operation flags. Equal to, I'm saying here write, read. I said here write, read. Means I want to read as well as what? Write. So it is wrong. Tuple. You can give multiple, right? So you can give multiple. So this should be represented. Write, read. What happened? Read, write. Okay. Okay, right? Now it is created. Which object is created? Iterator object is created. And this allows how many operations? Two operations. One is read and one more is what? Write. You can read it. You can read it, but how many times can you read it? Only one time. How many times you can read it? Only one time you can read it. Okay, now using this, you can read as well as what? Write. For example, ITR3. I'm writing here ITR3 of 0. Can I write like this? Can I write ITR3 of 0? 0 means which element here? First element. ITR of 3 of 0. 0 is index or not? Yes. Then it is read which element? First element. It is read first element. And this first element, I want to modify. I am writing ITR3 of 0 equal to, I am writing ITR3 of 0 equal to ITR3 of 0 into, I am multiplying it with what here? 2. What I am doing it, I am multiplying it. Miss, what I am doing, is it I am updating or not? Yes. But is it updation is done in what? Array. Because iterator doesn't have what? Data. Is it data is held by iterator or array? Array. You are updating array by using which object? Iterator object. Iterator object and print. What do you print here? Array. So print array. Now you can see 2, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But you want to update. You want to update all the elements. You want to update all the elements. Then you can say iterator 3 of dot dot dot. What you can use? 3 dots. So that indicates and so on. Means you want to update how many elements? All the elements. But if you want to update only one element, you can simply use what? Index. Simply use what? Index. But you want to update all the elements. You want to update what? All the elements. Then you are using iterator of 3 dot 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 equal to. Now you want to multiply. You want to multiply. I'm saying ITR3 into some 2. I said here ITR. Can I write like this? ITR 3 into 2. Can I write here ITR 3 into 2? No, I cannot write it. I'm writing A into 2. Can I write A into 2? Can I write A into 2? Now A into 2 also it is given what? Error. But I want to update. I want to update by multiplying each element with what? 2. Then what should I write? Now here use what? What do you use here? Index. But this read how many indexes? All the indexes. Then I should write again what? What should I write again? ITR3. ITR3 of what should I write? Dot dot dot. ITR3 of dot 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 dot. This generate how many indexes? Yes. How many indexes it generates? One or more than one? More than one. Not one index. It generates multiple indexes. It generates multiple indexes. Now this is valid. This is valid, but this is invalid. So invalid index type for iterating what index. So already we read one value, right? What we do is we create another iterator object. So ITR4 equal to NP dot ND iterator A comma operation flags equal to, you have to define this flags as one tuple, and this tuple may contain multiple operation flags. This tuple may contain multiple operation flags. Now you can see iterator object is created or not? Yes. I want, okay, otherwise we'll create another array, because why we want to change the same one, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the name of the array is B. What is the name of the array is B. Name of the array is B. Now you want to update all the elements, but this is updating one element or all the elements? This is updating one element or all the elements? One element. It is updating one element, but I want to update all the elements. How can I update all the elements? I'm using iterator 4 of dot dot dot. And this dot 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 generate how many indexes? All the indexes. Means how many indexes it generates? 5 indexes. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I'm writing equal to 0, if I'm writing equal to 0, what will happen? If I'm saying equal to 0, iterator 4, what happened here? Dot, dot, dot. What happened? All the indexes. Dot, dot, dot means number of indexes here. So you are generating all the indexes. Now indexes dot, dot, dot. Yes. Oh, what we have done is one mistake I did here. So what is the mistake is, yeah. So what is the mistake I did is, so this is written which object? Iterator object. And using this iterator object, you iterate. What do you iterate? Using this iterator object, what do you iterate? Element or not? Yes. Then you iterate the elements by using which loop? For loop. Use a for loop. Use a for loop. I'm saying for x in which object? Iterator object. Yes, this is a mistake what I did. And if you say print x, what is the x is? Now you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. X is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what do you want to do? You want to modify which value? Or you want to modify which value? X value. You want to modify which value? X value. You want to modify which value? X value you want to modify. Then how can you modify this X value? For modifying this X value, which is iterated from where? Iterator object. It is iterated from which object? Iterator object. See here. It is iterated from which object? Iterator object. And you are saying X of dot to dot dot X to the power of what? X into 2. X into 2 means what it is doing exactly. But actually X is not an array. X is what? Not an array. X is not an array. But X is iterated from where? Array. X is iterated from what? Array. Now when you say X, now you print. What is a print type of X? X is which type? You just see. X is which type here? Array object. So whatever you read from, which one? Whatever you iterate from using which object? ND array object, each element it is returning as what? Array. Each element it is returning as what? Array. Each element it is returning as array so that you can modify. But actually each element is which type? Actually each element is which type? Actually each element is which type? Integer type. Because I want to write it. I want to modify this value. Then it is returning as which object? Or each element is written as which object? ND array. ND array means now there is an array contain how many values? Array, there is an array contain how many values? One value. There is an array contain how many values? One value. Then how can you modify the value? You can modify the value by saying x of dot 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 equal to x into some value x to the power of 2. I said x to the power of 2 and after that I'm printing which one? B. So B is nothing but an array. So whenever you iterate, now you can see 1, 4, 9, 69, what? 25. So whenever you iterate it just read an element as what? Array object. So why it is written as an array object? Because the element is what? Read as well as what? Write. Read as well as what? Write. For example, see here, so np dot array, I created one array with some 10, 20, okay, 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, I'm writing here iterator 5 equal to np dot nd iterator of C. ND iterator of C and for X in iterator 5. Iterator 5. Iterator 5 is there. And if I'm saying print type of X, and if I'm trying to run this, now this is again is of which type? ND array. It is written each element as which object? Array object. So that you can read, you can write, you can perform certain operations. You can read, write and perform certain operations whenever you do what? Iteration. But actually element is which type? Integer type. If I'm reading from array, for y in what is that? C. And if I'm saying type of C, C is which type now? Sorry, if I'm saying type of y, so y is which type now? Integer types here. Integer 64, integer 64, integer 64. But the elements what you read by using ND iterator, it is written as what? Array object. It is written as array object and array is mutable or immutable? Mutable. Array is mutable or immutable? Mutable. It means you are trying to modify, x dot dot is nothing but index. This is generates the index. This generates what? Index. You don't know index, right? Are you generating indexes? Are you generating indexes or it is generating array? Array. It is generating array and you are modifying the element at that array by using what? Index. But how you are generating index of this element? By using which one? Dot dot. I cannot write here 0. If I'm writing here 0, it will try to modify which element? First element. But I don't know number of indexes. Then how you are generating indexes automatically? By using which one? Dot dot. So you are not hard coding index. You are allowing the system to generate what? indexes by using which one? Dot, dot, dot. So what is the difference here? What is the difference between iterator and ND iterator? Iterator is read only, but ND iterator is what? Read as well as what? Write. Iterator reads data only in one direction, but ND iterator reads data in different directions like row major and what? Column major. Or row major is nothing but C. Column major is nothing but Fortran language. Right? It allows to read, it allows to write, it allows to read as well as what? Write. Understood? Right? And there is also, yes. So ND array, it is provided, ND array, it provide filtering functions. ND array provides some filtering functions. ND array or ND or NumPy, sorry, NumPy provides some filtering functions. Filter. Now, based on the condition, I want to read the data based on the condition. I want to read data based on the condition. But here, are you reading the data based on the condition or sequentially? Sequentially. But you want to read the data based on condition. Based on condition. Reading elements from NumPy array. Okay, using condition or using what? Selection. Using condition or selection. And this you call it as which operation? This is called as which operation? Filtering operation. This is called as which operation? Filtering operation. And this operation is done by using two functions. NumPy provided how many functions? Two functions. NumPy. Okay, NumPy provides two functions for selection or filtering operations. Filtering operations. One is there is a function called where. There is a function called where. There is a function called where, and there is a function called extract. How many functions are there? Two functions. One is where and one more is what? Extract. Where condition. Where followed by what? Condition. And extract also followed by what? Condition. So this is reading data based on what? Condition. This is reading data based on condition. That you call it as which one? Selection, or what is called as filtering. Now when you are writing a condition, you write a condition by using which operators? Relational operators. You write a condition using which operators? Relational operators like greater than, less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal, not equal. And you write a you try to read by using multiple conditions. And how you combine multiple conditions? By using logical operators like AND operator and what? OR operator. Now can I use AND keyword? No. Can I use OR keyword? No. I cannot use AND keyword and OR keyword. In the place of that, you will be using AND keyword, AND operator, and you are using which one? OR operator. You cannot use directly and or. This is bitwise or logic. This is bitwise or logical? This is what? Bitwise. In Python, it is what? Bitwise operators. This is bitwise which operator? And operator. This is which operator? Or operator. If you are using with the sets, this is called as which operator? This is called which operator? Intersection. If you are using with sets, this is which operator? Intersection. This is which operator? Union. This is intersection and this is union. Means the operator behavior changes based on data type. It's called what? Polymorphism. It's called what? Polymorphism. Can you build your own operators? Yes or no? Yes. Using operator overloading. Operator overloading. When you build your own data types, you also build your own data operators. When you build your own data types, you also build your own operators by using which concept? Operator overloading. It means this operator is overloaded. This operator is overloaded when you work with which functionality? Array functionality. Now in this case, this AND is not bitwise and this AND is not bitwise and this OR is not bitwise OR. This AND is which AND? Logical AND. This OR is which OR? Logical OR. When you are working with which functions? Array functions. Right? So let me tell you in detail on this, what is where and what is extract. These both are very important when you are working with NumPy arrays. We'll discuss about this, but up to this you understood? What do you say here, yes or no? So how many ways can you read the content of the array? Bolo here. How many ways can you read the content of the array? 4 ways, huh? Okay, what is the first one? Index. Index. Second is slicing. Third is for loop. Very good. For loop. Fourth one is iterator. Iterator. How many types of iterators you have? Two. What is the first one? Flag. And one more is ND iterator. One more is ND enumerate. What is the difference between iterator and enumerate? Iterator reads only values, but enumerate read index and values. Then fifth one here, fifth one also we are learning. What is that? Functions. Functions. What are the functions are? Where and one more is extract. These are used for filtering data based on condition. Filtering data based on condition. Understood? Yes or no? Right. So tomorrow we'll see in detail about what is where and what is extract and what is the difference between where and extract. So today we'll stop it here.